This is...
Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly Remake revives the haunting tale of twin sisters Mio and Mayu Amakura as they stumble into a cursed village lost to time where vengeful spirits roam and forgotten rituals linger. This full remake enhances the original's chilling atmosphere with upgraded visuals, immersive audio, and refined controls, while preserving the iconic camera obscura mechanic used to capture and repel ghosts. A new Holding Hands with Mayu feature deepens emotional immersion, emphasizing the sisters' bond amid supernatural terror. The game is set to release in early 2026 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC via Steam.
Crimson Butterfly Remake. Finally, we're one.
Eilean More. The Lost Keepers is a psychological horror adventure set in 1900 on a remote Scottish island where a lighthouse has mysteriously gone dark and its 3 keepers have vanished. You play as a reserve keeper sent to investigate, only to find yourself unraveling a chilling mystery steeped in isolation, madness, and supernatural dread. The game features immersive first-person exploration, cryptic clues, and a haunting atmosphere that grows more surreal as reality begins to fracture. With story-rich gameplay and eerie environmental storytelling, it promises a deeply unsettling experience. It is scheduled for release in 2025 on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC.
Do you hear me? I'm scared.
Eternity's Echo Patient Zero is a psychological horror thriller set in Winona, Arizona, where DIB agent Rainn Williams investigates a gas station plagued by supernatural anomalies. As reality fractures, players uncover cryptic clues and confront dimensional threats tied to time travel and otherworldly entities. The game blends first-person exploration, puzzle solving, and intense action with a story-rich narrative that challenges perception and identity. With atmospheric visuals and mature themes, it promises a gripping descent into paranoia and truth. Eternity's Echo. Patient Zero is scheduled for release in the fourth quarter of 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam and Epic Games Store.
Who are you looking for, Ray?
AILA is a first-person tech horror game set in a near-future world where immersive technology blurs the line between reality and simulation. You play as Samuel, a game tester for a revolutionary AI prototype tasked with surviving disturbing virtual experiences crafted to prey on human fear. Each scenario explores a different horror subgenre, from ritualistic cults in haunted woods to undead knights in medieval ruins, offering varied gameplay and psychological tension. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, AILA delivers photorealistic visuals and dynamic lighting to heighten dread. AILA is set to launch in 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
But I will reveal to you the real horror.
Beneath is a Lovecraftian first-person survival horror game that plunges players into the abyssal depths of the ocean, where veteran diver Noah Quinn faces grotesque monstrosities, elite soldiers, and creeping madness. Trapped in a submerged nightmare, Quinn must navigate eerie underwater facilities and unravel a mystery tied to ancient evils threatening humanity. The game blends stealth, resource management, and intense combat, with adaptive AI enemies and limited ammunition heightening the tension. Atmospheric visuals and psychological horror drive a narrative filled with suspense and dread. Beneath is set to release in 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam, GOG, and Epic Games Store. Brokenlore Dark Dawn is a first-person psychological horror game that plunges players into the terrifying world of abduction, human trafficking, and the darkest corners of the dark web. You play as a kidnapped victim navigating a fractured reality filled with grotesque hallucinations and creeping paranoia. A biological clock system forces strategic decisions. Rest too long, and death may come. Act too soon, and you risk unpreparedness. Crafting, resource management, and mental health mechanics intensify the dread, with sedatives triggering surreal shifts in environment. Brokenlore Dark Dawn is coming soon to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam.
I don't know why all of this happened. All I know is that I'm in danger.
Ah, so you were there. I was already starting to worry.
I have to escape. No matter what.
Code Violet is a third-person action horror game set in the 25th century where Earth has become uninhabitable and humanity clings to survival on TRAPPIST-1E. You play as Violet Sinclair, a woman abducted from the past by the Aeon Colony's time travel experiments, only to awaken in a bioengineering complex teeming with ferocious dinosaurs and hostile forces. With limited resources, players must navigate stealth, combat, and puzzle solving while uncovering a sinister conspiracy tied to genetic manipulation and extinction. Featuring ray-traced visuals, adaptive triggers, and immersive 3D audio, Code Violet launches December 12, 2025, exclusively on PlayStation 5.
Understand.
There is something
Different about her. She is our priority. Without her, there is no future.
Crisol Theater of Idols is a first-person horror action-adventure set in Hispania, a nightmarish reimagining of Spain steeped in folklore and religious dread. You play as Gabriel, a soldier who uses his own blood as both weapon and curse, battling terrifying living statues and unraveling the disappearance of the sun god. The cursed island of Tormentosa offers labyrinthine streets, crumbling ruins, and cult-infested landscapes where every shot drains your life and every choice matters. With blood-based combat, upgradable powers, and a story rooted in historical horror, Crisol promises a brutal, immersive experience. It is set to release in early 2026 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
Let my flesh turn to ash, so my soul may ascend to you. Consumed in your flames for all eternity, now and forever. Crisol.
Displacement is a brutal first-person action horror game set in a frozen, isolated polar research station where madness spreads like frostbite. You play as a psychologist unraveling the mystery behind the staff's descent into insanity, navigating blood-soaked corridors and facing grotesque enemies in melee-focused combat. The game features over 20 weapons, unique boss encounters, and a temperature manipulation system that affects puzzles and combat alike. As the protagonist's mind fractures, new abilities unlock, deepening the psychological horror. Displacement is currently in development with no confirmed release date and will be available on PC.
Dad, come back.
So there you are.
Dreadout 3 is a third-person horror adventure steeped in Indonesian urban legend, continuing the eerie journey of Linda, a keeper of the dark, as she descends into an interdimensional rabbit hole to confront unseen forces threatening the balance between light and shadow. Players traverse haunted villages, spiritual realms, and cursed ruins, switching between first and third-person perspectives using Linda's iris phone to uncover ghosts and solve puzzles. The game expands its Ghostpedia system, introduces new wardrobe-based summoning rituals, and deepens its non-linear survival horror mechanics. Dreadout 3 is scheduled for release in 2026 on PC. Horror Tales Eats the World is a supernatural horror game played from a photorealistic body cam perspective, immersing players in desolate environments where silence is survival. You explore eerie landscapes collecting hidden cassette tapes, each revealing a standalone paranormal tale that deepens the mystery and dread. The game emphasizes stealth and atmosphere over combat, with surreal visuals and psychological tension driving the experience. Developed solo by Fadi Atakan, it evolves through early access with community feedback shaping future maps and horror scenarios. Horror Tales Eats the World is coming soon to PC via Steam Early Access. I Am Ripper is a psychological thriller set in 1988 in a decaying dock town in northwest England, where players assume the role of a forensic investigator unraveling a series of brutal murders. Developed by White Paper Games, the game blends tactile first-person gameplay with branching narratives that challenge moral boundaries and reshape story outcomes. As you examine crime scenes, interrogate locals, and uncover hidden motives, the town's grim history and social unrest deepen the mystery. With grounded characters and immersive storytelling, I Am Ripper explores power, consequence, and personal reckoning. It is coming soon to PC via Steam and Epic Games Store.
Please, listen, I promise I won't tell anyone about this. If you just let me... Oh, God, no, please. No, please, stop.
ILL is a visceral first-person horror game developed by Team Clout, plunging players into a grotesque world of body horror, psychological torment, and surreal environments. Set in a decaying town overrun by mutated abominations, the game emphasizes immersive physics-based interactions, brutal combat, and cinematic storytelling. Players must scavenge, survive, and unravel a cryptic narrative filled with disturbing imagery and shifting realities. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, IL showcases photorealistic visuals, dynamic lighting, and grotesque creature design that evoke dread at every turn. ILL is currently in development with no confirmed release date and will be available on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Liminal Point is a psychological survival horror game that pays homage to genre classics while delivering a modern, dread-soaked experience. You play as Lyra, a once-rising rock star drawn back to the fog-covered island of Ashen Point by a cryptic voicemail, where her band's tragic past resurfaces through twisted creatures and surreal environments. The game features limited resources, tense encounters, and layered storytelling that blurs the line between memory and nightmare. With isometric visuals, atmospheric exploration, and haunting sound design, every decision shapes Lyra's descent into madness. Liminal Point is scheduled for release in 2026 on PC via Steam and Epic Games Store. MINSK is a third-person survival horror adventure set in a post-apocalyptic world blanketed by toxic fog where remnants of humanity cling to life in towering ruins. You play as an android built by a lone engineer, navigating hostile landscapes, scavenger-infested zones, and abandoned facilities in search of vital resources. Along the way, you encounter another robot controlled by a biologist, sparking a shared mission to uncover the truth behind the devastation and reunite in the real world. With emotional storytelling, cinematic visuals powered by Unreal Engine 5, and immersive sound design, MINSK promises a haunting journey through loneliness, hope, and survival. The release date is yet to be announced, and it will be available on PC via Steam. Phase Zero is a retro-inspired survival horror game set in 1994 in the snowbound town of Flint Peak, where a grotesque illness transforms residents into twisted monsters. Players control two protagonists, Mary, a reporter, and Guy, an injured engineer, each navigating the outbreak from different perspectives in a chapter-based narrative. With fixed camera angles, pre-rendered environments, and PSX-era aesthetics, the game channels classic horror while adding modern quality-of-life improvements. Puzzle solving, resource management, and cinematic tension drive the experience as players fight to survive until dawn. Phase Zero is currently in development with no confirmed release date and will be available on PC and Steam Deck.
Phase Zero.
Project Spectrum is a horror-infused tactical first-person shooter from Team Jade, set in mysterious battlegrounds known as Ember Zones, where armed agents confront violent anomalies and psychological threats. Blending survival mechanics with strategic combat, players must navigate shifting environments, manage limited resources, and uncover a cryptic narrative rooted in experimental warfare and fractured realities. The game promises intense firefights, eerie atmosphere, and a layered story that evolves through player choices. With haunting visuals and immersive sound design, Project Spectrum aims to redefine horror FPS gameplay. The release date is currently unannounced, and it will be available on PC via Steam.
The loss is too heavy for you. But sometimes, loss can birth beasts and bury truths. What do you think? What if you are the beast?
The beast?
Resident Evil Requiem is the 9th mainline entry in Capcom's iconic survival horror series, set 30 years after the Raccoon City outbreak. Players follow Grace Ashcroft, an FBI analyst and daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft, as she investigates the eerie Wrenwood Hotel and uncovers a conspiracy tied to the Umbrella Corporation. The game features both first and third-person perspectives, blending psychological horror with intense combat and puzzle solving. Rumors suggest Leon Kennedy may return in a supporting role, adding emotional weight to the narrative. Resident Evil Requiem launches February 27, 2026 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC.
Oh, you're FBI? Investigating all these strange deaths, huh?
Grace, stay close to me.
I'm coming.
Keep moving.
What's wrong?
I'll explain later.
I've been watching you. You're not like other people, you know. You're quite unique.
Tell me what's going on.
Something important.
Mom, I'm scared.
Grace. They're coming.
There's no escaping your destiny.
Shiver is a third-person survival horror game set in a frozen town gripped by a supernatural blizzard, where reality itself begins to unravel. You play as Hannah, a young woman searching for her missing sister amid collapsing buildings, icy caverns, and grotesque creatures born from the storm. The game blends melee and firearm combat with environmental puzzles and psychological tension, emphasizing survival against both monsters and the deadly cold. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, Shiver features photorealistic visuals, dynamic weather systems, and a haunting narrative rooted in family and fear. Shiver is currently in development with no confirmed release date and will be available on PC via Steam.
My battle with the frost. It was creeping into my body from all sides. A good idea, I thought, to sleep off to death. Freezing was not so bad as people thought. There were worse ways to die. And I was right. There are worse ways to die.
The Twilight Project is a third-person survival horror game set in a forgotten village sealed off from the outside world, where a lost tourist must survive the night as terrifying creatures emerge and reality fractures. Inspired by Southeast Asian folklore, the game features a day-night dimension system that shifts gameplay between eerie exploration and intense supernatural encounters. Players establish safe zones, solve environmental puzzles, and uncover the village's cursed history through cinematic storytelling and haunting visuals. With base defense mechanics and spirit-infested landscapes, every decision shapes your fate. The Twilight Project is currently in development with no confirmed release date and will be available on PC via Steam. Tormented Souls 2 is the chilling sequel to the award-winning survival horror classic, following Caroline Walker as she journeys to the remote town of Puerto Miller to save her sister Anna from a supernatural affliction. Set in a sinister clinic nestled in the mountains of southern Chile, the game features grotesque enemies, mind-bending puzzles, and reality-shifting mechanics that let players alter time and space. With makeshift weapons like nailers and chainsaws, players must survive terrifying encounters while exploring haunted convents, derelict malls, and cursed schools. Tormented Souls. 2 releases on October 23rd, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam, Epic Games Store, and GOG. Whispers in the Fog is a first-person psychological horror game developed by solo creator Pasquale Cianti, set in a rain-soaked forest where memory fades and whispers guide or deceive. Players awaken with no recollection, armed only with a flashlight, and must explore eerie landmarks, cursed tunnels, and abandoned villages to uncover a fragmented truth. The game emphasizes atmosphere, exploration, and survival through observation and puzzle solving, with no traditional combat. Dynamic weather, haunting sound design, and cryptic artifacts deepen the mystery as shadowy figures stalk the fog. Whispers in the Fog is currently in development with no confirmed release date and will be available on PC via Steam. Will Follow the Light is a first-person story-driven adventure set in the unforgiving wilderness of the far north, where players guide a lone protagonist through treacherous terrain in search of peace and reunion with their family. Traversing misty islands, stormy seas, and icy mountain passes, the journey unfolds through environmental puzzles, emotional storytelling, and survival against nature's wrath. Inspired by Firewatch and Alan Wake, the game blends poetic narration with immersive exploration, offering boats, sled dogs, and foot travel across hauntingly beautiful landscapes. Will Follow the Light is set to release in 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam.
And which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
And that wraps up our deep dive into 25 insane survival horror games dropping in 2025 and 2026. Smash that like button if you felt the chills, sub if you crave more cinematic horror breakdowns, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next wave of nightmare fuel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.